We've all got our gut feelings about who's going to win the big match. But what if we could just ask a hyper-intelligent AI for its take? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a pretty sophisticated AI named Spectra and see exactly how it breaks down a Premier League showdown between Fulham and Everton.
Right, this is the big one. This is the first question every single fan wants to know. So for a minute, let's just forget about team loyalty, forget about gut feelings. We're asking the machine, based on pure, cold, hard data, who really has the edge here.
But we can go even deeper than that. It's not just about who wins, right? It's about the final score. So what does the AI think the scoreboard will actually read when that final whistle blows?
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. I'm just going to give you the AI's final call right up front, and then we'll spend the rest of our time here breaking down exactly how it got to that conclusion.
And there you have it. The AI is calling a 2-1 win for Fulham at home. It's predicting a tight match for sure, but with a clear winner. But the big question, of course, is why?
Okay, so to really get this prediction, we've got to look at what goes into it. The AI doesn't just glance at the league table. No, it starts with the real, nitty-gritty conditions of the match itself.
So the AI starts with the basics. Where, when, and what's the weather like? But just look at the detail here. I mean, it's not just saying, oh, it might rain. No, it's a 55% probability. And check this out. It's even factoring in wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. That kind of wind can totally mess with a long ball and really change the entire game.
All right, next up, the injury list. See, for the AI, this isn't just Fulham versus Everton in a vacuum. It's this specific Fulham squad against this Everton squad right now. And having key players out with injuries, well, that's a huge variable that goes straight into the number crunching.
And this right here, this chart really hammers home just how much of a nail-biter this matchup is supposed to be. I mean, look at those numbers. Everton's at 1552 and Fulham is right on their heels at 1550.9. That's practically a dead heat in terms of overall strength. So what this tells us is that picking a clear winner here is going to be super, super tough. It really shows you what the AI is up against.
Okay, so we've got all the raw data. But how does the AI actually turn all that into a prediction? Well, that's where the magic happens. It's something called a unified ensemble model.
The easiest way to think about this is like imagine a committee of super smart football analysts. First, the AI grabs all that data we just looked at. Then, and this is the cool part, it hands that same data to a bunch of different specialized AI models. Each one looks at it from a totally different angle. And then the main AI kind of listens to all their opinions, weighs them, and puts them all together to come up with one single super strong forecast.
So what the heck is a unified ensemble anyway? Well, long story short, it's basically teamwork for AIs. Instead of just trusting one algorithm's opinion, it brings a bunch of them together. And by doing that, you kind of cancel out any weird biases one model might have, and you get a much smarter, much more reliable prediction in the end.
And here they are. This is the committee we were talking about. Now, we don't need to get into the weeds on what each one of these does, but just look at the names. Random forest, artificial neural network. It just shows you the sheer variety of tools it's using. It's like having one expert who's amazing at spotting patterns, another who's a total whiz with probability, and a third who thinks in these crazy complex networks. You put them all together and bam, you get a way richer analysis.
All right, so the AI committee has had its meeting. Let's look at the numbers they came up with. This is where all that high-tech stuff gets boiled down into actual, real-world probabilities.
Man, this chart really says it all. So Fulham gets a 38% chance to win, making them the favorite, but look at that. A draw is sitting at a huge 34%. So the big takeaway here is, yeah, Fulham winning is the most likely single outcome, but a draw is right there behind it. This thing is on a knife's edge. Now this adds another really interesting layer. So expected goals, or XG, is basically a fancy way of measuring how good a team's scoring chances are likely to be. And you can see the AI thinks Fulham is going to create chances worth about 2.11 goals, while Everton's only at 1.36. That gap right there in their attacking potential, that's a huge piece of the puzzle for why Fulham is the favorite.
And this table here kind of puts all the pieces together. So you see that 2-to-1 prediction we talked about? It's right there at the top at 9.5%. But look just one line down. A 1-1 draw is at 9.1%. I mean, that just shows you again how incredibly thin the margins are here. These are the top 5 most likely scores, and they are all packed in super tight.
Okay, so we've got the probabilities, we've got the likely scores, but the AI isn't done yet, not by a long shot. It takes one last, super important step. It turns all this analysis into actual, practical advice. So, the million-dollar question, what's a bettor supposed to do with all this?
And here it is, the bottom line. It doesn't get any clearer than this. No edge detected on home given the odds. No bet. That is the AI's final no-nonsense verdict.
And honestly, this might be the single most important lesson in this whole thing. Just because the AI says a team is likely to win doesn't mean you should run out and bet on them. See, in this case, the bookies, they already know Fulham has a slight edge. The odds already reflect that, so there's no real value there, no edge for you to take advantage of. And that means the smartest thing to do with your money, according to the AI, is nothing. Just stay away. Going through all this, it leaves you with a really big, fascinating question about the future of sports. As these AI models get smarter and smarter, are we getting to a point where sports are just perfectly predictable? Or is there always going to be that little bit of human magic in the beautiful game that no algorithm, no matter how smart, can ever really predict? Something to think about for sure.